Hi, this is George ALGER, and welcome to another segment of Our Ventura TV. Today we're going to be speaking about Light the Night Ventura, and our guest is Michael Sullivan, who is the managing editor at the VC Reporter, and she's also a volunteer with the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. Welcome, Michael.
Hi.
All right, so first of all, let's start with some definitions. What is leukemia and lymphoma?
Leukemia and lymphoma are both blood cancers, and there's different kinds of leukemia, there's different kinds of lymphoma. I think there's several dozen, if not hundreds, of different kinds, and they're all kind of split up in these different diagnoses, and it's really just a general term for blood cancer.
Okay. Now, we're going to talk about Light the Night Ventura, of course, but I know that you have a personal story connected to blood cancer. Could you tell us about that?
Yeah. 2010 was a very interesting year for me. In February, my son's dad died, and it was a very tragic event. 6 months later, I had gone to a place called Burning Man, and I thought that was going to be very exciting because I was very into art, and I heard there was a lot of music and fun, and I was there's some other bad things, but I wasn't really I was not going for that. I really wanted to have this experience out there, and the Burning Man trip turned out to be a complete nightmare. The people, the atmosphere, the dirt, it was too much. And then on the way home, the tires on the fifth wheel exploded, and I exploded on the Donner Pass. And there was no one to help us, and I spent $1,000 getting us home. And I went to the doctor for bronchitis from the windstorms and dust storms out there. And I asked her to feel some lumps on my neck. I had felt them for about 3 or 4 months, and I didn't know what they were, so she gave me 3 choices: cash crash fever, valley fever, or lymphoma. And I didn't really know what lymphoma was or any of the other ones, but they sound a lot better than lymphoma. Within a month, I had my surgery, my biopsy done on the lymph nodes in my neck. The lymph node they took out was about this big, and they're very small, and mine were enlarged to about 1.5 inches. And right then I was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma, and I was at stage 2B, and stage 2B has a higher recurrence of coming back. And so then chemo began. I cut off my hair, I started losing my hair, my eyebrows. I had a very life-altering experience with chemo, and at the very end of it, I ended up having a toxic reaction, an allergic reaction to bleomycin, which was one of the chemotherapies. And I ended up not being able to breathe. I had to go to the emergency room, and my lungs were inflamed, and I was on steroids for about 6 months. I finally eased off that, and then so I thought my life was going back to normal, and I had been receiving patient services with the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. And I was recommended to go to them. They help with co-pays, they help with pharmaceutical co-pays, they help with insurance co-payments and premiums forever. And so I decided, so I was doing this, and then Leukemia and Lymphoma Society has established a branch in Santa Barbara, and they came down to the VC Reporter to ask if they could get some exposure. So we did a couple of things for them, and a couple of nice stories, survivor stories, things like that. It was very much on a small scale. But then they talked to me about this event called Light the Night, and asked me to get involved in bringing Light the Night to Ventura County for the first time ever, and that is how I'm getting involved.
All right, well, that's a perfect segue into what is Light the Night Ventura.
So I went to Light the Night in Hollywood, and I didn't really understand. You see these posters with red balloons on it, and you have really no idea what you're getting yourself into. But when I went to the one in Hollywood, they had raised, after about 5 months of fundraising, a total amount they raised $1.2 million to go toward research and cures for blood cancer. But with all that hard work they did, there's a celebration that happens that honors the loved ones, that honors the survivors, and that honors those who have passed. And everyone who raises at least at $100 on their team, they get to have a red balloon. So if they're supporting someone, they get a red balloon. If they survived it, they get a white balloon. And if they are representing someone who has passed away, who died, then they have a gold balloon. And so when I saw it, and you walk for about a good mile, Light the Night Ventura is going to start at the Plaza Park on September 28th at 5 p.m. in downtown Ventura. We're all going to have a big celebration. We're trying to get big names like Kevin Costner and Olivia Newton-John to come in. We're still working on that at this point, but we do have other local people like Mary Osborne and Victor Ortiz to show support for what we're doing for this community and for the Leukemia Lymphoma Society. So everyone gets their balloons and they're lit up and they blink, and you get together and you start a parade, and the parade is going to go from Plaza Park over the bridge, over the pedestrian bridge, over to Crown Plaza, and then we're going to walk all the way down to Figueroa and come up through Mission Park, and we're hoping to have another guest celebrity there playing the piano. There's another one who had actually gone through treatment for lymphoma as well, and we're trying to get him recruited for this event, and the main goal is to raise money to find the cure. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Now speak a little bit about the research.
So Leukemia Lymphoma Society has been around since the late 1950s, and in the past 60 years, they have donated over $900 million toward blood cancer research. There is a very high survivor rate for a good number of blood cancers. The 5-year survivor rate is usually what you look at. Hodgkin's lymphoma, which is what I had, I have about an 80% survivor rate to 5 years. It's high, still 20% scary, but there are people and children, it doesn't discriminate. I mean, you can have a 2-year-old child who dies from blood cancer, you could have a 90-year-old man, or a middle-aged woman, or a 30-year-old woman like me, all get diagnosed with this. And so Leukemia Lymphoma Society is funding all this research so that these therapies can be developed and we stop the cycle of losing people on who get diagnosed with blood cancer. So,
do you know if there's any recognition of the source of this, the cause? Why is this happening?
No.
Okay.
And that was even something I struggled with. I got in circles with my dad about where I could have gotten this blood cancer from. It's not in my family. There's usually, as far as I know, anyone who's had it has not had a genetic link. He was in Vietnam. He was diagnosed with kidney cancer. Hodgkin's lymphoma is a diagnosis from Agent Orange, but only for the people exposed to it. The children haven't been. There hasn't been enough people to collaborate that this could be my problem. When my friend's brother died, he was 14, there was no link to anything, and he died at 14 and it's gone, and no one can ever figure out where it came from or how to prevent it. It's just something we've got to do to cure it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, okay. So we're winding down the show now, all right? Number one, if someone were interested in finding out more or participating in Light the Night, where would be a place I can go to get information?
Well, I would go to lightthenight.org, and on that webpage you will find a link that says to find the walk near you, and there's one for Ventura. And I would also go to Facebook right now, and it's Facebook, Light the Night, Ventura, and we have a page there.
Good. Now, is there any summating message you would like to convey to the viewers?
We need to find a cure. We can't lose 50% of the people who get diagnosed with blood cancer. We can't lose anybody to cancer, but this is one that we're losing children. And children are spending their childhood fighting this disease, and I think it's time for us to really work hard to make sure that's not happening anymore.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, this is George Alger signing off for another segment of Our Ventura TV. Until we meet again.